Baishakhi Connor. How are you, Baishakhi?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thanks for your time. So, today we will talk about career strategy and especially for immigrant professionals. Okay, we kind of go through a struggle when we are coming to our profession, and during that journey, if we change our place, then it's also another kind of struggle happens. So we
Yeah.
try to understand what a professional can do or what is the optimum thing to do so that they can get the career they want. So the first question to you is, many of us started our professional life, whatever offered or comes to us first. Many stuck there for life without questioning. Many try to change but can't. Many can. What is your experience? By what age or juncture of life you should have a clear understanding what you want to do in your career?
An interesting question because you and I probably grew up in a similar background at a similar time, well before the internet, in smaller towns where, like you said, options were just given to us. So it was like if you're good at studies, you must do science. And if you're still good at that, you must become a doctor or engineer. Like there was just set things. Otherwise, you do become a lawyer. And at least when I was young, I did not even know that any other option was there or thinking about something else was possible. It was just not there. So I happened to be good and I then happened to do science and then I did engineering. My life has turned out very well. But as I now parent others and then I also coach others now and I run a masterclass, which I call uncaged because I think we grew up quite caged within those opinions. And in my Uncaged masterclass, I talk about clarity first. And what I say, you asked about age, but what I think is clarity comes through action. And it doesn't come with age, or you don't need clarity before you do something. You can only get clarity through it. So, no matter how young or old you are, so if you're just starting off, or if you're at a junction of life where you think, maybe what I'm doing, I'm not enjoying that much, the only way to get clarity on your next step is through action. So, for a very young person, that might be work experience, internships, go meet people, visit people in their offices, factories, sites, etc. For even older people, if I think I have just switched from a corporate life to doing my own thing, the only way I could know if I would like it or be good at it is to actually jump in and do it. So I did it as a side hustle for a few years and then only I understood. So it's not so much about age. I think it's any age you can get it, but you need to take action to get it.
Nice. Many of us, we equate our career with money or with status, or in some cases with organization where we are working.
Mhm.
Very, very few see their career as their work, not these other fields. What you want to say on that?
So first of all, let's not romanticize that money isn't important. It is. So I grew up quite poor, and therefore I always knew just from experience that it is a hygiene factor. Like I really need money to live, to look after my parents who were older, who did not have a pension in that country, lots of things. And when I had my first salary, the ability to give my mom a sari or give my dad a shirt or bring them to a different place, whether they visited me in Bangalore or eventually to Australia, it was life changing for us. So, definitely, money is important. What I do teach within my masterclass is there are two parts to it. So, one is let's not optimize for money in the moment. Let's optimize for our work or our career as an asset. So build your career as an asset rather than your career as a paycheck collector. Because as and when you're collecting paychecks, if you optimize for money in the moment, like that job just pays me a bit more, then you are still trading your time for money. Instead, if you could think of it as an asset where It is generation of skill and experience. It is value that you get that are non-monetary. Like, I have more freedom in life. I actually enjoy my work. My work has more impact in the world. There is so much more than money. So once you get money as a hygiene factor, both to build lifetime wealth, lifetime monetary wealth, and lifetime non monetary wealth becomes really important once you've got that hygiene. And understanding that and uncaging your thinking to really think that is so very important.
In many countries, because we are Indian origin, so in many countries like India, where promotion in Indian companies kind of by default, I mean, you work certain time and you will go up. But in many countries such as these, Australia, UK, US, it's not like that. How you say this, or what you will say to the professionals?
Really lived and worked in all of those countries. So I have lived and worked in US, I have lived and worked in UK, I've lived and worked in Australia now for many years, in India and also in Hong Kong. So I have that Asian as well as Western experience. As I first entered my career, I didn't even have to look for jobs. I just had to go to really good universities and be good at my studies, be academically good. And then on literally what is called day zero, a year before I graduated, each time, both for my undergrad as well as for my MBA, I just got a job. And then, yes, I worked in US and UK and wherever. That's because these jobs then sent me there. That's how I traveled the world. And I thought life was made. Then I migrated to Australia and found that I actually don't even know how to find a job, because just being good at my job, just being experienced, as in number of years of experience, just being senior didn't cut it anymore. And there was a skill. It was not just have talent, it is necessary to have talent and be able to sell and package that talent as well. So therefore, I like it was a hard lesson for me, because I came here and I thought, oh my God, I come from this elite institution. I've gone to IIM, done an MBA, I have 10 years of experience. How can they not even take me? It has been mind blowing, and therefore now I'm able to teach others, because I understand that personally, that this whole story we've been fed of just be good academically, get in, become senior, and that just naturally gives you promotions. Just it's not how the world works. In fact, even now with India now having startups, more multinationals, etc., some of the Indian urban jobs are also needing much more sales skill, like selling your talent, selling your skill as a package is so much important. And even in work, like I would tell my own team, like, if you have an idea, unless you know how to sell that idea, why would people buy in? So that is really important as well. So unless I lived in Western countries, I probably wouldn't have learned it when, at least in the time that I was in India. I know I haven't lived there for 20 years, so it is changing. I see from my friends. But that contrast, to advocate for yourself, to sell for yourself in a system that doesn't just hand it to you, is super critical.
Why many highly qualified migrants struggle to land their, especially the first job, despite having strong experience and education? What do you think? Is it a culture? Is it a understanding of the nuances? What is it?
Firstly, and I faced the same thing, it took me 12 months to find my first job in Australia. And yes, we can spend time with just other, whatever, other Indians, other Asians, other African nationalities, and just say, they were always saying, you don't have local experience, they don't even understand me, and just, kind of be a victim and whinge about life. Once I came to hiring manager positions, and I've done hiring for many, many years now, you realize something as a human yourself, you are also just pattern matching. As a hiring manager, as a recruiter, I have a vacancy and I want to get the best person that will help me do my job better. Like I just have to do my job, and all I need is someone who will help me do my job. If I see that that person has done kind of exactly the same or similar things in a similar context, then of course I will think that person can do this better. So ultimately, the system is trying to match pattern. And when we come from elsewhere, it is difficult to match that pattern. I'm now in a position of privilege, and I'm saying that there is an issue with the system, and in a position of privilege, I should work on it and systematically make it better. But as new migrants, there is also so much that individuals can do. If the other side is just pattern matching, help them. Help them match the pattern by either like you said, learning local nuance. Sometimes people would ask me when I was very new to Melbourne, what's your tan time? But ultimately, you have to understand that there is a running track that is really famous called the Tan. People run around it. It's a fixed thing. And people ask each other how fast you run that. Going to AFL games, you can whinge and say that is not like football or soccer and it's something different. I like cricket better. And I do genuinely like cricket better. But does that mean I will never learn what's happening here? Then you'll be left out of the office conversation completely. So you do need to learn local nuance to the extent that your local work or local regulation or local customs are important for your type of work. You should understand that. It took me time to even understand Australian accent. That is important. So many things an individual can do, and also the way they write their resume, they write their LinkedIn, etc., help the other person match the pattern. So if that other person doesn't know that I worked with the Tata Group, then help them understand how big it is. If they don't know how good IIM as a university is, help them understand that it is the number one university for MBA in India. So give context, help them match the pattern as well, because otherwise, like me, you'll go to interviews and people will go, oh, was that a good university where you came from? So help them.
Another thing also, I struggled. I used to say that I'm not working in a corporate, and probably I'm not fit for corporate because I couldn't learn the like few skills. One of them is handling office politics. And there's a lot of intelligent professionals, they become victim of it, get sidelined. How is the best way to handle it? I can understand we are human beings, we are organic creatures, so there will be some ups and downs, and it always there is a way to match up or whatever. But sometimes it's really get toxic. What do you want to say to the immigrant professionals?
I think across the world, we treat politics as a dirty word. And we've kind of come to it seeing many politicians probably in our life, like in general life. But ultimately, the word refers to just selling your idea, getting buy in for your viewpoint, building the coalition or the alliance that lets your work actually land and have impact. Once you get it, like think of it that way, it feels that it is not manipulation, it is more ownership. Like if you have your own company, you do have to go out and sell that product. You do have to get customers to like your product, understand your product, etc. So you have to do it. But when you're part of a company, many people will say, I should just do my job and they should just see that I'm doing a good job. Who's they? Like everyone around you? Like is the company is not a person, it's a collection of persons. And unless you do something beyond your exact job, like whether you're coding, whether you're doing anything else, if you refuse to do anything at all beyond that, I see that now as a refusal of ownership behavior. And if you say you're hating politics, you're kind of refusing to build sponsorship. And then you're quite confused when all your competence is not enough. And I'm like, why should competence be enough? Imagine if you work in your room, in your own company, and you have a great product. Why should the world know that product until you go out and tell the world of that product? And it should be just the same, even as employees. That's why I say so much that your career is your business. Treat it like one. Absolutely. Like you are the product, your skills are the product, go sell it. It's important to do that. It's important to do a good job and have a good product. But it's also important to sell it because having a good product in some corner, in some room, doesn't help. So embrace politics. It doesn't mean you have to be sleazy. And sometimes also understand when you're on the wrong side of politics. then yes, just like any other politics, electoral politics, you will sometimes not have a good time. I mean, you can change jobs, you can change companies. It's your business. Take it elsewhere.
Is there any way to understand or to decide? I'm not asking what is the right job for me, because again, it's an organic thing. It can change with time, with life's purpose and all these things. This is not the right job for me. Is there any way to say?
There is definitely something about liking what you do to an extent. You will never like 100% of everything you do. Even in your own business, there's parts of the business you enjoy doing, parts of the administration or whatever that you dislike. There is something about liking, but beyond that, look out for a few things. Like I was talking of that being on the wrong side of politics. Despite liking, say, the actual job or actual role, you may be on the wrong side of politics, and that may make it the wrong fit for you personally in that culture, in that organization at that particular time. And there are some signs for it. So you may see that your visibility has dropped or just never was there. So you're not in the rooms that matter. You're not in the rooms that you used to be in. Visibility is currency. So if you don't have visibility, then your influence is reducing. So that may be a sign. Your scope can get smaller or meaningless if your responsibilities are shrinking and someone's been squeezed in on the top of you, side of you, bottom of you, etc. Your scope's shrinking. That's not random. That is, they are repositioning you. And you need to find a way to reposition yourself there, or just go, this is not right for me. Don't even spend time. Like I said, your career is your business. If this client is not working out, have a pipeline of clients, go elsewhere. And feedback, if you ask for feedback, it is too vague or too inconsistent. Understand that unless they give you clarity, you cannot win. So that's not right. If you lose advocacy, so if you have, say, a manager who really sponsors you and helps you, either that person changes, it's a new person, or something happens and you think, they used to do this and they don't do this anymore, or they never did it. I've come to this new job and no one really supports me. Then, yeah, if they're too distant, quietly critical, your protection's not there, that's gone. And opportunities is a big thing. Like you, as humans, we always want to grow. That's just innate in us. How you want to grow is up to each individual. Someone might want a promotion, someone might want a different kind of lateral thing, whatever it is, you define it. But if that opportunity is impossible to get and it's going to other people that you feel like you've done everything, you have embraced politics, you have sold what's needed, and the opportunity just doesn't come, again, that's the wrong fit. So there's so many reasons a job can be the wrong fit for you, even if the actual job description seems perfect on paper.
Another word which is very common these days, employee well-being. What it means, I mean, if you ask me, my definition is just suck it up.
Good and bad ones on this. In large corporates, definitely, and particularly in Australia or Western countries where labor laws are quite strict, there's definitely expectations of a company, large organization these days, to provide an environment for employees to have a safe workplace. In the olden days, it used to be like, okay, that means you need to have a place to sit, you need to have a toilet, you can't have, unsafe electrical or heat or some hazards around, etc. These days, it has also become a lot of psychosocial safety. So do you feel psychologically safe, etc.? In large companies, while there are individuals and departments who do passionately want to do good, it becomes difficult to balance this. And also in an environment where we are all humans, and there's all, like, just statistically, in a large company, there'll be a large number, absolute number, even though the proportion is small, the large number of people will always abuse it. So if you think we need psychosocial safety, that is really critical. And I know from leading people and from being in teams myself how critical it is. But there's always someone or the other that abuses it. There are some people who are in that department of doing employee well-being, but they just want to tick the box. So for very many different reasons, in large companies, it will often fall down. And then there's a sense of yes, we have an engagement survey, we have done this, and we have given this, and we have that employee assistance program. So, yes, employees have well being. The best ones I've seen is when the managers are empowered and trained to have their own view and own perspective and therefore lead the team themselves. I'll give you an example. So when David Tori was CEO of Telstra, and I went to one of his speeches. He said when he joined, every international travel had to be signed off by the CEO himself. It was a massive company of hundreds of thousands of people. He's like, how do I even know? I don't even know that person. And then there was a sense that if I said yes, then they're also thinking, oh, well, the CEO said yes, so I can just go have a junket and be happy and whatever. Or if someone needs leave or someone needs to work from home, like trying to do this at a very senior level or policy level is meaningless. It didn't work. So what he instead did is manager and individual, you have full understanding. So you both decide, the individual themselves and the manager, whether you need to go overseas, whether you need to work from home, whether you need to take sick leave for whatever reason it is. Your child is sick, you are sick, something. You decide and you create an ROI, or you create a plan for how your work will be done, etc. So if you're going overseas, tell me if the company is paying whatever 5,000, 10,000 for your travel, what are you bringing back to the company? If you're taking sick leave, then how is your work getting done? As long as that's done and the manager and the employee knows it, it's good. So I've seen well-being done well when through every layer, everyone's empowered and we all feel trusted. Does that mean no one abuses it? Of course not. There are still people who abuse it, but that happens anyway. You can't have a system where there's 0% abuse of anything. So I've seen it best when it has gone through the layers. Otherwise, like you said, it will be a check the box. We have this. So we are doing well-being. And if it doesn't suit you, too bad, suck it up. That is definitely what will happen.
As you have been in leadership position, there are a lot of professionals, they are full of themselves, power fetish. I don't like to say, but with Indians, we have this problem. Up on your face that look how big I am. Is it our insecurity or like the patriarchy in our own country or lack of morality or what exactly? I mean, people behave that way.
The first thing I'll say is that I've now lived and worked in 5 countries, and I've seen that happen across cultures. So, whether they are people from there, from elsewhere, ethnical backgrounds, it just happens across cultures. Do Indians or Asians have it more? Yes, probably, but that's kind of like we come from a hierarchy driven system, right? So, we come from a place where elders are to be respected, seniority is to be respected. It's a cultural thing. We are a collective society. And that means visible power is the credential. And then also with large population means visible power is scarce. Most of the population will not have visible wealth, visible designation, visible power, etc. So that scarcity also means status becomes your armor. So if you're out and about in these kinds of countries, just saying, do you know who my father is, can become your armor. Is that not the case elsewhere? Of course not. Like Trump's son or daughter will be just as much like my father's the president and get away with different things. So, of course, it happens everywhere. But I think collective societies like India do see it a bit more. It's not that unique to humans, but there are still differences just by that collective versus individual culture. I have noticed, and I've also noticed or had to change my own behavior because in India, seniority spoke first, and I would defer to my senior or manager to say it first, and then I would follow that order. In the West, someone had to take me aside and say, but you did the project, why didn't you speak up? I'm like, but I'm with the executives and there's all the executives there, wouldn't they speak? So it took me a while to get out of that. But definitely it's there for every human. But it is important to understand as you move across cultures, or even if you're in India, you're working with different people now because many companies work across countries. It's important to understand that the other cultures, the individualist cultures especially, are expecting you to speak up irrespective of status and respecting you also irrespective of status.
Another thing is career shift. I tried few times and honestly it's a humongous task. It's tiring, it's confusing, it's degrading. And the way with technology and the society is moving, there will be different career for people, like totally shifting to three different careers, or even someone say six, seven, whatever. Why with all this technology still we are seeing candidate as a resume, not as a possibility yet?
Or that pattern matching is a thing, right? So, first of all, as humans, we pattern match and we go, if I want this vacancy filled, I already have in my mind that I want this pattern. And therefore, I'm looking for a resume, really, not a person, like you said, to fill that pattern I have in mind. And now you're saying even with technology, actually, technology is almost amplifying the pattern, because the only way AI or even other databases can really go, who will be a better architect or CEO or anything, is like who has been a good architect or CEO before this. That's the only way we know it. So specialization does make pattern matching easier, which means if I'm in the same career and I go from like analyst to senior analyst to manager to senior manager to whatever GM, and I go to the same, like I'm in the buying career, so I'm a buyer. I'm in the sales career, so I'm a salesperson. I'm a technologist, so I go up that. That makes pattern matching easier. So therefore, it is very easy for me to go, well, you're a GM of technology, you've done technology of this kind all your life. Very easy. I know exactly what you are. Here's your job. Go for it. It is much more difficult to understand the value of adaptability, or even if adaptability is there. So I know I'm adaptable. I've adapted across 5 countries, but is it easy to show in my resume? No. So therefore, it becomes very hard to understand. Like, just because I have lived in different countries, is every person who lived in different countries adaptable? Not, probably not. And then if they don't have that strength, how do you know that each pivot gives that enough credibility to survive that pattern matching filter as well? So it's kind of like, unfortunately, you do have to specialize enough to be understood. So you can say, I am so and so, and then adapt once you've earned the trust. In kind of corporate jargon, this is often called T-shaped skill. Like, you do have breadth and now can adapt across a lot, but you have that T going deep in something. So you may be a really great technologist, and now you can therefore use that as your core skill, but now spread across and become a CEO of any other company, not just technology companies.
Nice, nicely said. Another major thing is lived experience. Okay. I consider myself as a lived experience advocate because I went through depression, and that's why I'm now working in mental health early intervention. And in my opinion, this skill or value or wisdom, whatever you call it, it's the most underrepresented and undervalued thing in the mainstream. How you see this?
The lived experience is definitely undervalued. It's also a relatively new thing to even be named or acknowledged that lived experience is a thing. What have you even lived is not something we thought about. Like, have you lived in different countries? Have you lived through depression? Have you lived through being of a different sexual orientation or gender fluidity? Like, we don't even think that that gives anything to people. In fact, we are, as humans, so tribal that we think anyone different is a risk. I was just taught to think, if you're depressive, that is it. You are depressive. So therefore, you cannot work. So I have stereotypes of all these different things in my mind. And therefore, it is so hard to understand lived experience. So again, it comes from both sides. So those of us who have lived through whatever I have lived through, infertility, through migration, through losing parents, etc. So yes, I have to learn to share, but also there is a thing of each person. Like I said, you are ultimately, in any walk of life, even through friendships, ultimately you are selling yourself. Whether you're selling yourself as a great friend, as a great whatever, it is a bit of sales. And what I've realized for lived experience, because it doesn't quite show up in a resume. Like, yes, I say that I was in different countries, but I don't really say tried for 10 years to have children, had this many IVs. That's not in a resume. Lost my parents, feeling depressed. That's not in a resume. Or there's no reason and I'm feeling depressed is so hard to understand to put on a resume. So therefore, I have found actually sharing my stories on somewhere like LinkedIn, lived experience becomes currency then, because I can tell the story of not just the hardship, but also what I've then done to come out of it or deal with it or be resilient through it. And a lot of people who know me through my stories, even in a room full of strangers, that language, they can actually recognize it as a skill. So many of us have the experience, like at our age, every single person has lived experience of some sort of the or the other. But just the experience without the packaging means you've just lived. You need to have that packaging to turn lived experience into positioning. Again, that's one of the things I teach inside Uncaged. That's why I call my program or masterclass Uncaged, because so many of these are cages of our own making that we kind of are locked inside, and we can uncage it ourselves. We don't need someone else. It can be hard, but it can be done as well. So lived experience is definitely one of those things you can use so well, and it will make you feel good as well, because others will come tell you, oh my God, I went through this as well, and I did not think that anyone else in the world had this. And they will say, I didn't know that that actually existed. So you will feel good doing that as well.
We are almost the end of it. So the last question to you is, give me top 3 or 5 tips to the immigrant professionals.
Just three tips is hard, but let me try to just gather some themes. So I would say there are probably 3 things that prevent, whether it's a migrant, whether it's anyone, but probably more for migrants because we have a barrier to cross, that there are 3 reasons why it is harder for us to cross that barrier. Either it is you are not making a decision. Just make a decision. Just commit to a decision. That's number 1. Or you could be like, oh, I should do this. I should learn this language. I should get this thing. I should actually go, like I said, clarity comes only through action. So I should apply for jobs. I should go meet people that I don't know. I should expand my network. I should meet more local people. I should meet volunteering organizations and do some volunteering. We often think this and go, I should, but we don't do it. The first thing I'll say is decide, commit, do it. So the first reason you don't cross the barrier is simply not doing it. So you're just staying within your comfort zone, and you're deciding to stay within your comfort zone. You have an idea you should leave, but you don't leave. That's number 1. Number 2 is you've decided you will leave your comfort zone and step out, but you don't exactly know how. So therefore, you're just trying everything possible. So you're thinking, oh, I'll do this volunteering. Nothing's happening in a month. Maybe I will do that thing. Maybe I will join that cricket team. Or everyone's Indian here. Then I will do that. So you kind of don't know. Or, yes, I heard this podcast and she said that I should really sell myself or package myself. Here's what I'll do. Or it's not working. If you don't know, then all this action will just make you exhausted. It will not give you clarity. It will just make you exhausted. So go find someone who has done it before, whether it's a coach, whether it's a mentor, whether it's someone else, a group of people. Go immerse yourself. Don't try to reinvent everything. If someone else has solved it before, go find them, find the system, invest in yourself a bit. That's another thing I had to learn. I would not invest in myself or spend on myself, like I said, at all. Now I'm like, it's not a spend, it's an investment. I just need to get a return on it. As long as I get a return on it, it's like if I went to an ATM and put $1 in and it gives me $10 back, I will put every dollar I have into it. So just find that ATM for yourself. Like, is it a coach? Is it a course? Is it a masterclass? Whatever it is, go do it. So that's number 2. And number 3 is stop hesitating. The other thing I've seen people do is come in and just be overwhelmed by the choices. So they have decided I must leave the comfort zone. They have gone, yes, I do need help. And now they are kind of collecting the types of help and going, Yes, this person said, I must go and call, say, I often will tell people you have to call 5 strangers related to something. So there's a structure to it, but 5 strangers every week. Then you hesitate and go, oh, should I? Even though your coach that you've paid for is saying this is what works, I've seen it done 1,000 times, you will still hesitate. Just jump in. What's the biggest thing? You will fail. And that's it. Just go again and do it again. So, those are my top 3 things: be decisive and take action. Go and find out what has already worked, invest in yourself, and find out how to take action in the most effective way. And number 3, when you find that out, don't hesitate. Jump in and do it. The worst is that you will fail. Failing means you're in the same spot. Just go again.
On that, we should end our podcast here. Thank you, Vaishakhi. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.